What's up, gamers? How's everyone doing this fine day? I'm NanMan, and we are back with some more modern action, and you might be able to hear the audio a little bit higher at the beginning of this video, but we'll get into it and explain that in a second. But we've got Amulet Titan versus Dimir Reanimator. Now, we've seen variations of Dimir on the channel many times before. We've seen this one maybe once or twice. It is, of course, the Oculus package, but it also runs the Persist package and like Archon of Cruelty and stuff like that. Amulet Titan, it's been a little while since we've seen, so I'm excited to be able to see this on camera. Today we'll see it is a very complicated deck. You might think, oh, would you just play lands, play Amulet Titan, win? Yes, but it's also like the sequencing, the lines at which you get there, and how you do it does matter. But
it's also under the city limit.
Well, all sewers, most sewers are underground. Not all of them. The Roman ones are above ground.
Yeah, your poop's above you.
Yeah, the aqueducts.
Yeah, those are bringing in water from the mountains.
Nan, make sure to get this.
Yeah, this is a very important discussion about
Nan, opinion on ancient Roman aqueducts and their impact in the modern world.
Nan, hold the audience. How often do they think about the Roman Empire?
yeah, how often do you all think about the Roman Empire? So yeah, that was the real thing.
How often do you think about the fact that Julius Caesar was stabbed 57 times?
You'll want to know, I'm building a city in one of my games. I'm thinking about sewers.
So yeah, players having some nice little friendly banter there. Then we kind of lower the audio there. But yeah, I wanted to include that because I thought that was very, very entertaining there. I mean, how often do I think about the Roman Empire? Not as often as these guys apparently there. I think about the Roman Empire probably when I'm playing like the Age of Empires types games, and you know that's probably the extent of it. Age of Mythology, those types of stuff. But otherwise, I don't think about it. I don't think about the sewer system. So I don't know. Maybe I'm off kilter in that regard there, but yeah, let's get into this game here. So yeah, we talked about the idea. So Dimir Reanimator, it is very similar to the Oculus style of play, except you're running even more reanimation package. We talked about running Persist. You've got Archon of Cruelty in here, so you have additional ways of going about things, but your strategy is very graveyard focused. So when game 2, game 3 becomes much more challenging, when players are using their graveyard hate and things become, oh, we're thought seizing ourselves. So I think that's really cool. Reveal, hey, I've got a Oculus, 2 counter spells, an Unearth here. I'm going to get rid of one of my Oculuses that I had in hand because I did have 2. So that is a nice play. So instead of thought seizing the opponent here to maybe strip away a Primeval Titan, a Green Sun Zenith, Pact, right? You're going for the thought seize yourself with the anticipation for setting up for an Oculus next turn. But we've got the Myco Spawn going to become a copy of Amulet Titan. So we're building up here. We're basically in the setup mode. A lot of the early stages of Amulet Titan are going to be these kind of setup phases where you're trying to ramp with a lot of lands here, especially the bounce lands. You're trying to kind of set yourself up with as kind of Amulet to be able to just kind of get a Titan and go. Now, Unearth is going to be going through here, and we're going to be grabbing our Oculus. All right. Upkeep trigger. We're going to manifest Dread. Look at those top 2 cards. One of them is going to go onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature that we could then flip up for its casting cost. The other goes to the graveyard. So again, fueling things here. But we still, because of the way we set things up, we know there's another counter spell. So if our opponent tries to resolve an amulet, or sorry, tries to resolve a Titan this turn, we will be ready and able to kind of respond. But so we know there is a counter spell. It looks like we have our Valakut in hand. We've got a bounce land here. So we could start to generate some mana depending on, like, we know there's a counter spell, so we have to play around that. So how do we position ourselves to kind of keep progressing our game plan? Now, seeing the Valakut, we know that there is going to be that is a potential line that exists as a win con within the list, as well as just kind of beating people down with the amulets, depending on how things go. It is a toolbox deck with the way that the lands are, right? You have to think about it in that regard of it is designed to get a lot of singleton lands in here, like the Myco Spawn, like the Urza's Cave, like these different effects here. So now we're going to, looks like we're cracking the Urza's Cave, searching for a land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, shuffle out of library. So yeah, this toolboxy in this regard of the land package that's available to us. Like you see right here, it looks like we're debating about the Tolarian West here. Because of the bounce lands, like if we played it now, it just sets us up for a tutor effect for, you know, a pact later on. So it's like, again, we check our hand. This is the complicated part of Titan, and it's not a deck that it's easy to just pick up. Yeah, you might be able to just go, okay, I understand the basic lines of my goal is to get an Amulet Titan. Once I get an Amulet Titan, I can more or less win from there. But how you get there and all the stuff that you need to do to get to that point does change every single game. Also, you need to adapt and change your kind of gameplay depending on whether or not you have like the Lotus Bloom combos in there and cycling your lands and returning them from your graveyard. Like there's a lot of complications that exist within it, so it is not as straightforward as you might think. But if you guys are enjoying our content, the stuff that we're doing here, make sure you're subscribing, checking back every Monday and Thursday for our paper action here, as well as our content for MTGO on Saturdays there. And then we're starting to put some shorts out. Have you guys been checking out and seeing the shorts on your feed? Do you guys like any of that stuff? We tried to do it more of like almost deck tech styles that are designed to kind of, you know, teach a little bit more about what the meta is like. But there's a couple other content we're going to be doing for shorts coming up. We've got some more pack one pick ones that we're going to be filming soon to start uploading. So got a lot of stuff in the works for you guys to be able to enjoy with our MTGO content there. And then, of course, our vlog footage will be coming out probably beginning of July or so to show you guys some travel stuff, some MagicCon adventures, all that kind of good stuff here. So let's bring the beats here. Reanimator player is going to be swinging across 7 total damage, like very quick clock now. A lot of pressure being put on the Amulet Titan. Now, there's another Oculus, but you don't want to overcommit. Like I think we do have that other counterspell in hand still. So, all right, Manifesting Dread again. All right, we've had some setup turns. We could start making constructs, which our construct token that we have is finished. Have I not revealed it yet? Maybe I'll pull it up here for you guys to see real quick. Echoing Depths, really good card. All right, here's the... There you go. This is our construct token that we've got. So if you guys are interested in some of those, you guys can see me at some of the MagicCons or see me over at Comic Kung Fu. If you guys are interested, we got a construct token. Also has all of our social stuff on it. So I'm very excited how that turned out. Very cool little construct token there. When we were designing it, I was like, I want it to kind of look like, you know, Pokemon trainer kind of summoning the construct, doing that sort of thing. And then it's like, okay, what's your favorite Pokemon? Let's make it like a, you know, Phyrexian style construct. And it's like, well, Scyther is my favorite Pokemon. Scyther's awesome. So very excited to see how that turned out there. But getting back to this, you know, we know there's going to be a construct created. It'll be a 3/3. We could block one of the Manifest Dread tokens here, but we are taking 7 for sure. Do you care which one? Let's eat this one. Now, if it was... Oh, another counterspell. That's good information. Now, if it was another Oculus under there or a Frog or something like that, you know, that could have been a pay 2 mana, flip it, and maybe eat the construct, depending on how things looked. All right, another Manifest Dread coming out here. So this is the key turn. Do we make a construct here? Do we float mana? How are we going about it? Looks like we're going to be making a construct. So we're kind of going through these lines right now of setting ourselves up to make a lot of blockers. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to search up and find another Amulet Titan here. We basically we have enough to block the Manifest Dreads. We don't have enough to block the Oculus because it is flying. Unless we have an Arboreal Grazer that does have reach, we are in this position of we could survive one more turn. So we have to kind of anticipate that and see, like, is there a way for us to create a Titan here? It looks like we have a Pact, so Summoner Pact in hand, so it looks very likely that we can do that, but we are going to need to have a Bounce Land. Simic Growth Chamber would be great here. I mean, Gruul Turf is in the list as well, but yeah, it looks like we are in the debate mode on what we're grabbing. I wonder, is the list running Lava Spur Boots? I mean, I would assume it's like you run the like Amulet of Vigors, but is Lava Spur Boots worth it? Are you running like a one of Pithing Needle? Like, I don't know how much flex spots are available for like one or two other artifacts in there with the Urza package, but we'll see. We'll see. Our Amulet Titan players saying, I need to retool this deck. So they're going through the list right now and noticing maybe specific areas that they go, yeah, I wish that I had these things. And he said, one of the things that I'm missing out right now is I do not have one copy of Otawara in my list like I should. That gives me a little bit more flexibility here. So I could, bounce your Oculus, do these extra things, like give me a little bit more flexibility for stuff. So missing out on the Otawara does hurt a little bit, but we've got our third amulet out. Remember that Myco Spawn up at the top is a copy of Amulet of Vigor here. So we essentially have 3 triggers of untapping here. All right, so we search off that. Yeah, so Summoner's Pact. So the Pact trigger will go in the stack for next turn. With something to keep in mind. We are going to be tutoring up, or attempting to. Nope, that's going to get hit with a counterspell. So that leaves us with that debate of what should you go for the counter on the Pact or what they packed for. Because if they pack for something and they, don't have the mana to pay for it, like if they go, okay, if for say here they don't have Titan in hand and you counter the Titan, right? They don't have Cavern of Souls or something out right now, so you counter that, then they could lose to the Pack trigger potentially, but that's on a big if. All right, yeah, we're in that debate mode again. Yeah, it looks like we're okay with just building up. We know we can take at least one more hit. Ooh, cycling an Unearth here. Yeah, I like that idea of cycling the Unearth. You're looking for extra resources here to help you fight. We know that there's going to be a Titan that's going to come down. I mean, we're at 15. Yeah, just send that. Like, there's no point in sending... Oh, we're hard casting an Oculus. Okay, that works. Puts you to 1. Do we got a Bowmaster? Maybe not. And there are 3 counter spells in the graveyard. So that's what the Amulet player was confirming. Saying, okay, so that means that basically next turn gives me the opportunity here to try. I have to win next turn. So I feel like that's like definitely the mentality with Amulet Titan is I have to win this turn or I have to win next turn, and then you have to be able to go off. And oftentimes the deck has that capability and power level to do that. Now there is a lot of blockers here. So we've got 2, 4, 6. 11 toughness to absorb Primeval Titan. And we're at 15 life. So let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Second Manifest Dread. Alright, so we could make another construct here. Summoner's Pact. So we do have the Force and Negation there. Do we not have a blue spell to pitch? Or maybe the blue spell is the last counter spell, and we want to try to play that on the Primeval Titan here. So that is the Final Fantasy Japanese Primeval Titan. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, some of the art with the Final Fantasy set is absolutely crazy with how good it looks. Okay, so here's the Lotus. Triggers. That's where we can get a bunch of mana here. All right. So, of course, we have the sacrifice 2 lands when it enters, but we get to generate so much mana off it, right? Because, again, we have those 3 untaps. So, I'll sit here and generate 3 mana each time. And we're going to spend 2 of this. There he is. There's the art for it. Look at this guy. Astral Titan. Do we have the counterspell? No. Interesting. Okay. It says, do you have any responses to anything right now? It says, well, at least not yet. We'll wait until you go to combat. I might have some responses then. Oh my gosh, if he's got a Bowmaster in hand and just was like, all right, gotcha. Like, go through all your loops and now I'm going to kill you. Like, that would be miserable. Okay. Mirror Pool and Teleria West. So let's float some mana. Float some mana. Float some mana. Float some mana. It's a lot of mana. You know, hey, we have these nice colored dice here to make it easy to see what exactly is going on and how much mana is being floated here. But Mirror Pool is going to get used. Again, we talked about that toolbox element there, and this is one of those cards, right? We get to make a copy of a creature you control. So we're going to make a copy of Primeval Titan now, and we'll just go and get... So all of this created from one single Summoner's Pack. And a Lotus Bloom, but... This is showing you just like, you know, how important it is for your setup turns to get to this point of the explosion of lands. So this is the one that will gain haste until end of turn. So give these guys haste. Make a construct as well. Oh. Give the construct haste as well. New construct gets haste. Bounce trigger. Bounce the Teleria West. I mean, okay, so let's see. Ooh. All right, Echoing Depths is going to become an Urza's Cave, which we will then search for a land. So we're continuing. Oh. Okay, that's really good because that gives us access to a Boreal Grazer in our graveyard. Trigger, send the teen. All right, so each construct is a 5/5, so that's 15 damage alone coming across here. Most of the lists have taken the double strike stuff out. That was an old school style of Titan shenanigans. So the first one, there's our double return off of the 2 Simic Growth Chambers. What are our other 2 lands that we're going to get here? Simic Growth Chamber is perfect because it will let us activate that Shifting Woodlands over there. Two forest. Nope, just kidding. Confirming with what's in hand first. But yeah, so we've got a lot of power coming in, right? 12 from the Titans alone, 15 from the Constructs up there. We're at 15. We're going to have to do some blocking, absorb some hits. I mean, can we get away with... No, we have to... I don't know. I think we have to throw our... I was like, we have to throw our Oculus in the way. I was like, is there a way to keep our Oculus alive so we could just swing with both? And that way the Boreal Grazer won't be able to stop us. All right, another Simic Growth Chamber. And... yeah, you see the Scape Shift in there. So that is one of the lines that this list does have. Still missing one more land. And one more bounce trigger. All right, forest. Okay. All right, now there's the... so this is where we get a little confusion about whether or not we need to bounce for one more land. And yes, we do. So we missed an extra... It's fine. It doesn't, like, you bounce the forest here. So it says, yeah, bounce these three for these. But we also bounce for earlier stuff. So this is why this deck is so complicated and so hard to keep track of. It's like, yeah, I bounce all of these, whether or not you bounce them this turn or this game or what, like, this is where, like, lines get crossed for things and says, he says, I know you bounce for these two. Which is here's also the problem is because we had like the ETB land triggers and now we're having attack triggers. So it's like, it's so hard to track sometimes. He says, I think I picked everything up. And but luck, we have the footage. We know we missed a bounce, but that's okay, right? What do you bounce? A forest here? It did like there's no other utility lands worth bouncing, but does that 1 mana make a difference? It could. All right, blocking the copy of the Titan here, and then we're going to block the constructs here. So we're killing off 1 Titan, taking 6, absorbing the rest through our blockers. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's like if we had taken 10 and then swing in, would that be enough if we had both Grazers there? A Troll and a Murktide. Whoa. All right, so we're left with a Manifest Dread and an Oculus. I mean, most likely we're making another construct next turn. Yeah, go to 9. I like that. The Amulet player says, I've played this game so bad. And the Reanimator player is like, you want to go to the next one? Yeah, we could just go to the next game. That's fine. Because, I mean, you look at it and you go, all right, we have them essentially dead, but there is the blocker, right? We know there's the Arboreal Grazer in the graveyard that the Shifting Woodlands is going to become a copy of. Is there one more blocker that we can create here to keep us alive? We have to make 2 blockers. And hope that there's no removal spell, right? If there is a shoot the sheriff or something like that, like we lose. So we are stuck trying to find a line to stay alive here. Delaria West going for another pact. Yep, there's the pack. What are we pacting for? So that's going to be 2 pack triggers on the stack. One green floating. He says, you fail to find? No, no. Oh, did we go for the grazer? Did you see that? Okay, so are we packing for the grazer here? Yeah, because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more mana. Yeah, so okay, we get a grazer. Get to put a land. And it has reach, like we talked about. So we need enough mana to block and not die to 2 pack triggers. So we gotta be able to put a Lotus Field in. Oh my gosh. Sack these 2. Alright, so I guess the only difference here we would have had to have sacrificed our Simic Growth Chamber. Right? That would have been the only difference because the forest would have been bounced to hand. So there would have been one less land here that we would have had to sacrifice one more. But with the amount of mana we can generate off of Lotus Field, I mean, how much Shifting Woodlands cost 4 mana to activate, though? Hold on. Alright, Shifting Woodlands is 4, and Delirium. You have to have Delirium, which we do, and costs 4. So with Lotus Field, you only get 3 mana, so we would not be able to activate the Shifting Woodlands here. Because it's only until end of turn. Alright. Do we have the removal piece? There's a swamp. Plenty of mana here. Archon of Cruelty would do it too if we had a Persist and Archon. Yeah, this is a problem here. Alright, we're passing the turn. So we did not have the removal. Looks like we don't have a Bowmaster. Manifest Dread. Paying for the 2 packs, so we need 8 mana there. So we're going to tap basically that pile of lands here. Manifest this one. Pay for the packs. Ooh, that's pretty good. Get all of our lands back from our graveyard. Then we could just make another copy of Amulet. Yeah, just swing, right? Go turn everybody sideways. Oh, we're keeping one of the constructs back. Smart. All right. Search, good. Attack trigger off the Amulet Titan. Or Amulet of Vigor. I just always want to say Amulet Titan. Basic Forest here. And what other goodie we get? Valakut? Nah. Return this to our hand. I guess we don't have the lines for doing a Valakut win here. You know, Dryad of the Elysium Grove. There probably is less numbers of those. I think I could be wrong, but I feel like if you're running the Lotus Bloom stuff, you're running less copies of the Dryad of Elysium Groves because you have more tools to focus on that package than the Valakut package. But I think that's the thing. It's like there are flex spots within the list, and you are running, most of each of those packages, but it's like how much you've devoted to each of those does matter. All right, block both the constructs, take 6, go to 3. Need a removal spell for the Grazer. Attempt to cast Aftermath Analyst, which will be hit with a Spell Snare. Really good, because that was about to return all the lands to the graveyard and just guarantee us a lockup win there. All right. 2 blockers. We need a removal spell, or an Archon of Cruelty Persisted, or a Bowmaster. I don't know if we're running any Bowmasters, though, because we probably shaved on those to fit in the Troll of Kazakh Dune, the Persist package, the Archons of Cruelties. We still have Murktides in here. There's a Valakut. No other mountains or anything, so we don't have to worry. Force a Negation. Consider being pitched to the graveyard. Let's go to next game. Oh, we didn't get the removal spell. Oh, no. Tough. Oh. All right. We're sitting here as a 1-0 lead in favor of our Amulet Titan player right now. Going into game 2. Sideboard stuff will be able to, definitely be impactful in this matchup here. Stuff that, if the Amulet Titan has graveyard hate, that's going to be stuff to be able to bring in. Things like, I don't know how many players are running like a Vexing Bauble package. That is pretty useful if someone's trying to cast a Summoner's Pact. It would be countered, but unless you're running like the Urza Saga package, most players are not running like a Vexing Bauble in their sideboard, unless your shop has a lot of Amulet Titan or a lot of elementals or free stuff. People are trying to cheat, and you go, no, we're not going to do that. Ooh, a Boreal Grazer, and we'll swap it out with the Gruul Turf. Shock in, and pass the turn. Left with a Spell Snare, left with a Consider here, so we can do a setup turn here. So both players are in their setup phases. One is going to be setting up and trying to get all their lands set up here. Ooh, Green Suns for 1. Perfect to get hit with that Spell Snare. So no Grazer coming out here, which was going to be the play most likely. I don't think any other 1-drops exist there. Consider going to get used. All right, untapping, upkeep, drawing, doing all the draws, setting up, delaying the ramps as much as possible. Oh, we've got a Consign. That's a really nice one because you can counter the amulets being cast. You can counter the Titan triggers. So I like that. You can counter the Urza searches. Like there's a lot you can do with Consign to Memory. And we talk about if you're running blue, you should be having like 4 of in your sideboard. I'm slowly picking up more so I can fill out the sideboard of all my decks because I run so many different blue decks. We're going to search using the Urza's Cave to go find a land. All right, what land are we looking for? Teleria Academy or something? Or are we still in the setup? Let's just get a bounce land or something here. Get a Myco Spawn, get something. Oh, another Urza Saga. That's really cool because they're both going to be sitting here and ticking up. Both at 2, so we could start making a lot of constructs this turn. They can make 1 construct. So no amulets, but we're planning to find them. Valakut. All right, unearth drawn here. Nothing really in the graveyard. We have I guess nothing that we can care about reanimating there. All right, make a construct, draw. These are going to trigger to 3. 2 search triggers, consigning the triggers. Now, I don't think it really makes much of a difference here, but like sequencing wise, he's like, okay, I'll float mana response. I think you have to make your choice before you get to do your search triggers, but if whatever. I don't think it actually matters in the way that this game works, but in the sense of making sure you're learning the decks, and for players that maybe want to pick up certain decks and go, I want to learn to play with Urza Saga, whether it's Amulet Titan or whether it's like a artifact based deck or something, that you have like the sequencing of which you can do these, unless you're like, while the search trigger is on the stack, you're gonna float a mana. I don't know. It's like MTGO stuff. I always get messed up with when I get to tap and make constructs and do things and responses and stuff. So all right, but we still just getting hard cast because we have a Cavern of Souls naming giant. Let's cast this amulet or this Titan here. Get another Urza Saga. So our goal here is we need the Amulet of Vigor. We're going to poke you for 1 with this little construct. Get ready for the potential 6 damage. Oh, Toxic Deluge. Now that's a nice sideboard card that we brought in here. Let's just chunk ourselves. We know our opponent has committed to this. They don't have any amulets out, so we can kind of put a stop to that. I wonder if they're running Surgical, and they could strip away Titan and force them onto other lines. Now, there are other lines to win, so if you Surgical away a Primeval Titan, we've talked about the Scape Shift lines. So there are, Valakut is already on the battlefield. You need that Dryad of Elysium Grove and stuff, so it definitely is a potential scary thing to have to worry about. All right, do we just make 2 constructs here? Oh, do we have another? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, just kidding. 4 mana. 3 mana. 4 mana. Green Sun for 2. Pitching a counterspell for the Force of Negation. I dig that. I like to hoard the counterspells as much as possible, but if you don't have like a Thought Scour or a Consider or something to pitch with it, like making sure that this does not resolve is really good, because we know that they're going to be trying to return all their lands from their graveyard. They're going to be, something bad is going to happen. All right, we're down to 10. Our Amulet Titan player is at 20. We're looking for a way to just get a threat on the battlefield here. We need an Oculus. We need something. All right. Surveilling, whatever it is, we're happy with it on top. Land for drop. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, looking through the graveyard. Looks like we do have an Oculus in hand. Getting rid of these 6 cards. Keeping an Archon in the graveyard. So there is an Archon. Okay, so we need to persist. But we're going to tap our mana like so and cast this Oculus. Upkeep. Manifest Dread. Put this here. Put a Consider in the graveyard. Alright, triggers. He says, what do you care about these upticking? The triggers for these. So they're going to go to 3. Alright, floating colorless mana. Are you responding to the searches? No. We are not responding to the searches. We already have used our consign. We don't have another consign, sadly. I am surprised. The Amulet player tutoring up 2 amulets. No, I like it. I like the choices. All right, so we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana available to us. We've been trying to search up some threats. I mean, we got a Resolve Titan this turn, and he did not last. So we're on the hunt for another threat. We still have 2 colors floating. All right, Summoner's Pack going to try to go and resolve. Yeah. All right, casting it, resolves. No responses to the triggers so far. Oh, just kidding. Trigger on the stack. Shoot that sheriff. Apparently, Titan's a sheriff. Who knew? So that's 2 Titans we've answered. The trigger's still going to go off. We're still going to go find 2 lands. The ETB. All right. Lotus Field. I like the art for that one. That one's a cool one. The Hasty Boy. All right. It's like, what lands are we blowing up, though? I mean, this is a... Amulet triggers first. Colorless and 3 red. 3 green. Oh, do we just have another Amulet or another Titan in hand? Sacking these 2 lands. Okay. Shifting Woodlands. That'll do it. We have our Delirium. Because there is a enchantment, a land, a creature, an instant, sorcery, right? We have a hasty Primeval Titan. Cast a stock up. I need to pick up stock ups. Every time I see it, I'm like, dang, this card's good. I need to pick up some, but I have not. I'll probably pick some up when I'm at MagicCon. The card's sweet. I like the card. He says, wait, I get to choose. Yes, you get to pick. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, the rest in the bottom. And we're going to find another Amulet. So here is this Titan coming across. Double block him. He says, sorry, you get to search first. Attack trigger, search, find your lands. What lands are we looking for? We're under the assumption that one of the lands is going to be a bounce land, so we could bounce Teleria West to our hand. But what else do we care about? He says, I would try to get Mirror Pool and copy this, except it would just copy it as a Shifting Woodlands and not of the Primeval Titan. Vesuva. Ooh. Double Lotus Field. Blow this up. Active player turn 0. So we are in the grind. I know it says 43 minutes or so on our time, but again, we cut out the sideboarding time period for these players. So 50-minute rounds and another Titan. So this is the 3rd Titan. Third Titan, I guess if you count Shifting Woodlands, the 4th Titan that we've had to deal with. Mirror Pool. Got a bounce land. Are we going to have a copy of... Are we going to have our 5th Titan out? Yep. Yep, let's do it. Here's a copy of it. Mirror Pool. Oh my gosh. So 5 Titans so far this game. And it's in turns. So this is turn 0. So there are essentially 3 of our turns left, right? It goes back and forth, 5 turns total. Oh my gosh. 6 Titan. We made a copy of the mirror pool in the graveyard, and now we're casting another one. Pick this up. Teleria West, tutoring up a Pact. All right, we have 3 Titans. Is there another Toxic Deluge? How are we getting out of this? Thought Scour going to get used. Mill these. Draw this. We see some counter spell here and a land. Force a negation and a land. Not useful stuff, so that's fine to get milled away. Unearth, bring back the Oculus is nice. Make some blockers. We're at 10. Oh, persist. We finally get to see it. Okay, so persisting, that Archon of Cruelty that's been sitting in there, and that's from that special Convention in a Box promo there. So we get rid of one of the Titans of the 3 that were on the battlefield. Oh my gosh, we've cast so many Titans this game. Or created so many Titans this game. But the Archon is going to be really nice. Helps us draw cards. Helps us gain some life. Manifest Dread. Now we can kind of make a wall. And we have some flying damage that we can kind of set up and bring across the table here. Now, Archon is a 5/5. So that's 10 damage. 13 damage. Not a lot to race with. We are at 13. Hey, stop bumping our cameras. We are at 13. We can, let's see, 12 is coming across for sure, guaranteed. We're going to throw 2 2/2s in the way. It's still going to be a close race. Summoner's Pact going to get used here. So this is turn 2. We have one more turn after this. Ooh, Endurance. We would have loved to have seen that earlier, but we're going to cast our Endurance and utilize our own graveyard to put all those awesome lands back in there. So it looks like we weren't able to try to like pull those lands from the graveyard, but this gives us more tools. We can start tutoring up mirror pools again and be able to make more copies of Amulet. And our goal is to kind of set that up here, this game. Can we win this turn? Triggers. All right. We can't win this turn because the mirror pools and stuff like that are going to set us up for next turn. So first trigger, Cave, Teleria, that's fine. We have 2 blue, 2 colorless floating. All right, and now we are going to be tutoring up, yep, Simic's Growth Chamber. So we'll have, I don't know how much. That's the problem and why I don't play this deck. Also, is trying to track and track not only all the lines, all the bounces that are happening, all the mana that you have floating. Like, it is such a complicated deck when it comes to tracking what is going on here. I know it's like you see this sort of straightforward, like play the Titan, turn him sideways, but it's, you know, that's the fun part about Modern is there's so many complicated and interesting decks that are like, okay, how do I pilot this? Like, especially seeing it in the hands of a very skilled pilot that understands specific lines and, oh, I know that I can toolbox for this specific land in these situations. Like, it's very, very cool stuff there. So I like seeing the Amulet Titan list. I will never be playing it, though. I have a lot of the pieces. I was talking to our Amulet player that night and was like, yeah, I've got the Primeval Titans. I've got the Amulet of Vigors. I don't have, like, pretty much any of the other stuff for the list because I just have never been like, you know what I really want to play is this really complicated deck. All right, Lotus Fields. Whew, 6 green. Blow both these up. We have the pack. We have a Grazer. Tutor up. Get another pact. So this is we did our first pact was getting endurance. Our second pact here. Cast Summoner's Pack. No responses. All right, second pack. That's 8 mana now that we need for next turn. So we are trying to get as close to winning as possible. Do we go for oh, we're in combat though. This is still in combat that we're doing all this tutoring. Wait, isn't hold on. Isn't Teleria West? Did we just take the 12 and go to 1? Hold on. Because isn't Teleria West a sorcery? Isn't tutoring a sorcery effect? I can't remember now. Hold on. I gotta pull up Teleria West. We post combat here. Is this main phase 2? Discard, transmute. Discard this card. Search your library for a card with the converted mana cost 0. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Transmute only as a sorcery. So we're post combat. I guess we're at 1. I didn't adjust the life totals because the only way that this works is in post combat. Even though we're doing all this stuff. Because you can't so you can't transmute at instant speed, like in the middle of combat, when all this mana is being floated, though. Right? I don't know. My brain the wires got crossed. I got lost. Somebody explain to me who was a Titan player. What's going on? Help me. Okay, we know that this is the line we're going for. All of this mana generation and dumping everything in there. We're going to attempt to cast their Aftermath Analyst, which is going to get hit with the Stern Scolding. You may not get all those lands back. All right, I also got lost. I think we had 3 packs get played, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you need 12 mana for 3 packs? Yeah, because we got another Titan in that mess. I don't know. I got lost. I got lost in the sauce. I don't. It's like it got too much mana, too much tutoring for me. I went cross-eyed for a second there. I'm assuming our Dimir Reanimator player is at 1. And they're just trying to turn everybody sideways or something. He says, did I make a land drop? And he's like, I have no idea. You've done too much land bouncing shenanigans. I could not tell you whether or not you did. I'll you know. And I don't know either. Did they make a land drop this turn? It's like if I had made a land drop. But that's the thing too. It's like all these mana, like all these lands here were not the lands that started on the battlefield that turn. So it's even harder to sit here and go through and track with all the bouncing and the sacrificing and this and that. And it's like, because we even endurance and shuffled away all the land. Like, oh man. All right, turn 3. Pass turn. And not able to pay for the pact. Those are 3 packs. So I got lost in the sauce there. But it was 1-1, not able to start game 3 there. So a draw between the players. I don't know. It's weird, right? Like a Titan player definitely seemed like they were winning that game But there was also that opportunity for the Dimir Reanimator player to have potentially have won game 1 because of the amount of mana and missing a bounce. Like, it all got messed up. I don't know. But I wanted to show you because these games, like, this is the complication of this deck and why it's so hard to pilot it sometimes is these complicated lines that you have to try to approach. But I think this is a great, because it's been a while since we have Titan on camera. It's great to showcase this deck and show you guys kind of the power that it has, but the difficulty and the skill ceiling for this list is so much higher than many other lists in Modern here. But look at so many sideboard cards brought in for both players. I like the stock up. I like the grist, the double endurance. But yeah, that was it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed all of that epic Magic action here. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next game.